Welcome to another episode of the Breaking Into Tech Sales podcast. I'm Jack Knight, and today's episode is with a client who actually we worked with for, I think, almost a year. And over that year, we were able to help him land, I think, 2 or 3 different jobs, but they were like short-term contract jobs and they weren't exactly what he was looking for. So finally, after a couple months of just radio silence, we actually reconnected and we were able to help Rich Asovia land an amazing 85K fully remote tech sales role in just 14 days. And Rich goes deep into the psychology of who you need to become to land the job you want to land in this episode. So I hope you guys enjoy. It's a bit different than the other client win videos because I've worked with Rich for a long time and he has a lot of passion around mindset and around how to set your environment up in a way that will be conducive of you actually landing a job, but not just landing a job, becoming the person you want to become at the end of your job search journey. So I think y'all are going to like this episode. It's different, but it's fun. And by the way, if you need help landing a tech sales job, we're doing it over here at Sword in just 34 days on average. Someone like you, maybe no college degree, maybe no sales experience. It doesn't matter. Maybe you are in sales already. You're just looking for a better vehicle to get in. Whoever you are, we can help you. There's going to be 2 links that I link below. One is a link to meet with my team to figure out if we can actually help you go land a job in the next month or 2. Now, if you're someone who isn't quite ready to go that hard and you're still kind of exploring tech sales, you're not sure if it's for you, the second link is a link to a completely free guide that I made that shows you step-by-step how to get into tech sales. It also covers things like what is tech sales and what do you need to know and what is the day-to-day. All of that fun stuff is all in there. So wherever you are in your journey, we're here to help. This is, the Breaking Into Tech Sales podcast. So hope you guys enjoy and let us know if we can help you out. Rich, welcome, man. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Jack.
You landed a fully remote 85K OTE role, but they said earnings could take you north of 100K, right?
Right. So with the accelerators, I can get to 6 figures. I haven't got the official documents, but I got that verbally from my manager from talent acquisition, and even on the sales side with the AEs. So really excited with that, getting that set up. I'm only day 4 in, so really excited.
Day 4, baby. Come on. Well, dude, I'm so proud of you. Again, I've gotten to work with you for a while, but I think for you, it was about finding the right company fit at the end of the day, because you had tried some of these other companies, some of these like contract roles, short-term this, and man, you never gave up and you kept believing that you could be at a great company and build something long-term. So good job not giving up. And that's why we're here, man. And it just took you 2 weeks to do it. So for us that don't know you, tell us what life was like before Sword. What were you doing? What was your career? Why was that not a good path for you? And this is going back quite a bit because I know we've worked together for a while.
Yeah. So I come from B2C background, high volume outbound selling for residential homes in the remodeling industry. So I did that for some time, very similar to how an organization would be for B2B, how an SDR AE relationship, we would go ahead and set the meetings for our sales reps. And I did very well, worked my way up, ended up running a good portion of QA and supervising the entire call center. But I realized that I wasn't really able to get what I wanted to for my future. I wanted to build a family, and I didn't want to come into a world where I bring in a child and, I can't provide for them, So I saw the incentive in B2B, I saw the higher ticket selling, and I saw the drive that I wanted to start a family, be a provider, right? And I just think that, going through this journey with you and just learning good habits, learning good mindset, learning what separates an average performer to a top performer, and really just going through a transformation of you got to eliminate all the bad habits, you got to eliminate the bad talk, the bad self-talk, because it is not going to get you to where you want it to go. And it was hard, it wasn't an easy journey. This is something that you kind of have to reprogram. And I just think that you had the resources there to not judge, to pour confidence in, to listen out, to understand. And I finally came around, and here we are.
Dude, that's so good. One of the first things I talk about with my new clients is you have to prepare to become someone new in this process, because the you that is standing at the beginning of the journey, you are only where you are because of what you are, right? If you were already the person that could go make, 6 figures plus in tech sales, then you wouldn't be talking to me. You'd be able to you're already that person. You can go do it. You'd already be in that field, whatever. But the number one thing that happens with my clients is they transform. It's a transformation journey
Mm-hmm.
where they come in one way and they leave another. And so for you, man, you committed to that journey of transformation. What do you think is the main thing that transformed?
That's a good question, and I really want to take some time to think about it because I feel like there's a lot and there's a lot of nuance to it. Um, um, hmm. I'd probably say that, like, to think it in the most generic terms, like you have a point A where you are, right? And then you have a point B where you want to be. And you know that if your point A is struggling, it maybe have some negative self-talk, maybe you're not as confident as you want to be, right? But you don't really know how to get there, right? But that's where you want, that's the end goal. So there's that fine line in the center of the circle. How do I get there, right? So then you have you with your resource. You also have things that you kind of have to do with yourself, talks with yourself, and start eliminating those bad thoughts. So you kind of have to go through, you almost, I want to be very careful, but you kind of have to start. Well, what worked for me was to start meditating and
Mm,
to start eliminating distractions. I think there's a lot of technology that can distract us, and then you don't get to the point B. You don't start progressing to the point B because you're getting so much distraction. So you actually have to eliminate. There is a video I saw it was a therapist talking specifically about this subject, who says buy some duct tape, draw an 8x8 circle and, or a square. And I don't know how you can apply this in your life, but you live in that square. Like you wake up, you go to work, you try to work out in that square, you eat in that square, and you sleep in that square. And that's where you live. And my phone has a gray, I put a grayscale on my phone so I can't get stuck in screen addiction or doom scrolling. And you just start, your body's gonna fight you. Your body's gonna start, no, I gotta get out, I gotta look at some screens, or I gotta do something, right? And then you just kind of have to let it happen. You gotta let the journey, let whatever's happening, and then understand that you just have to go through the process. And
yeah.
then I know it's a little bit long worded, but I just think that was my biggest thing, is I just got to let things happen and not be so too introspective. And then
Yeah.
slowly, like, the bad thoughts were going out because I was focusing more just on the journey part.
Dude, so good. That wasn't long-winded. That was very helpful, because someone who wants to get in shape isn't just going to wake up one day in shape. Like, your body is fighting you, the habits, the routines, the unhealthiness that you're pushing through.
Mhm.
Like, you don't just wake up one day healthy, right? It's a journey. And so, to your point, man, cutting out distractions, getting rid of color on the phone. That's a great idea. I just went through a big office hall where I'm in this office here. I had a lot of clutter. I had like stuff in here I didn't need. Now it's super simple and I'm focusing way better. I used to have 3 screens. Now I have one. Sometimes I'll open up a second if I need it. But it's just that idea of like, can we be hyper focused on our goal?
Yeah.
And are we willing to commit to the journey? Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I think when we first met, a while ago, neither of us knew that this journey would take us here
Yeah.
today with all the twists and turns it had too.
Yeah.
But I think we're both grateful for it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm happy in your journey, man. I think you definitely hit the nail on the head for people like me who do need this type of service. Especially if, having some sort of experience and just trying to translate that, but also being able to effectively communicate that that you are worth it. You are worth the investment. And you're not going to convince anyone that you are if you don't believe it in yourself. So that's something, if you're struggling with, like, eliminate those distractions. Don't get endorphins from things that are not going to help you through the journey to get you to point B, and fight, have an inner battle with your soul, where your soul wants to come out, but there's something that's happening, that these habits that's preventing it. So you have to, if you go through tech, that's why I want to come back to my phones now. That grayscale on my phone, I didn't realize how much time I was on my phone, and now it's gray, so I'm not getting any stimulus, right? And I'm not craving stimulus. You start thinking about these things. So now when I go out and I smell the flowers, I'm like, wow. I was telling my wife, I'm really seeing color now for some reason. I'm getting my stimulus through colors. And I bought her some roses. I bought her some flowers, and I picked the one that was popping to me in color, and I was getting stimulus from that. So it's very interesting. I don't want to digress in my skepticism with like tech or stuff, but again, it's just really important that
that's good, man.
This is a battle with you. It's not a battle with tech,
Yeah, you're becoming someone. You're becoming something. And honestly, I do a lot of mentorship in my personal life with younger guys. And one of the first things I'll have them look at is screen time on their phone. And man, that tells like 80% of the story. Like, these guys come in, they're depressed, they're sad, they're confused, they don't know what their purpose in life is. And I'm like, cool, open screen time on your phone. And it tells the whole story. Oh, you're on Instagram for 6 hours today. No wonder. Did you work out today? Did you drink water? Did you get vitamin D? Like, did you, to your point, meditate, right? Are you putting truth into your mind? Or are you just getting distracted by everything around you? So dude, this is like totally a different angle on the job search journey, but it's probably the most important thing, because the Bible says, as a man thinks, so he is.
Yeah.
So whatever you tell yourself, whatever that story is, that's what you're going to become. So to pull out, we're in the deep end.
Yeah, we're in the deep end. I feel like that might be a little talk to about mental health awareness. I can't speak for everyone. I can speak for myself, but as a man, I feel like there isn't that much education. So just finding things to be role models for, right? There's a lot of social influencers, right? So it's just like I took a lot of time trying to see, I didn't know, how to be a man. I didn't know, what it is okay to talk about, right? So I think it's very important that, to fight the stigma, that if you do need help, like, you have to look at resources that can help, think the right way and help you, with that journey that you want to get to the point B. So that, okay. We'll get out of the deep end now.
Dude, the deep end is like needed though. And that's actually one of the first things I cover with a new client is, and I've actually added some of this even after you joined. So you didn't even see some of this, but it's all about mindset. It's all about programming and becoming who we want to become at the end of this journey. So take me back, man, to why you signed up with me and Sword. Like, why were you confident in Sword specifically? Because there's other boot camps, there's like these other, tech sales type training courses. Why Sword?
Yeah, so um I found you through Andrew Shapiro. There's a name drop. So he was hosting an interview session. I was trying to find ways to improve in terms of translating my skills from B2C to B2B. And I found him through LinkedIn. He had posted the event. So I was thinking, okay, well, I can't figure this out on my own. Let me go out of my way to learn, right? So I found him as a resource. I attended it, and lo and behold, that's where I found you. And that's when you went ahead and started presenting, your academy, and I started learning more about it. I checked out the OG website format. So I loved it. Really sold your story, that you were someone who, you went through a very tough time, drugs and all that stuff, but you have your story there. And I saw how you were trying to pivot out of it. You were trying to pivot. You were starting a family, you had a baby on the way, and you had to make things happen. Your wife, she just gave birth, right? Or if she's about to, so she can't be working, and now this is the role that society brought upon us, right? That we need to be the provider, right? So I just saw a lot of things in your story that was resonating with me, and you also provided a lot of free information, like your playbook, what you do. And I think at the time you were starting out early in your career, transitioning into this new field here. Um, and you had I think it was a 90-day get hired or don't pay me, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this sounds pretty good. So I went ahead, set up a time with you, and it kind of went from there, right? But
Yeah.
I think to tie it all together, your story really resonated with me. The fact that you were already in B2B as a BDR SDR manager, you were training, you had BDRs, SDRs under you. So you kind of already understood, what the world I was trying to get into, what was important to you, what was important when you were hiring SDRs, BDRs. So I feel there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to pick your brain from. And on top of that, it was the 90-day, and I was like, okay, well, I am coming out of a career break, so
Mhm.
you know, finances was important, but I understood that I had to find resource to get help.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Thanks for sharing that journey. I think it helps people who don't know me get a feel for like where they discover me. It gives them a little more background about who I am. So that's really helpful. And just to be sensitive of time here, I guess the last question I have for you is, now that you've gone through the SWORD program, now that you know how to get jobs consistently, what would be a piece of advice you would give to someone who's on the job search themselves that you think would actually help them?
Let's see. Learn what it means to be curious to you, and I'll elaborate. So,
That's good.
so, so if there was a time in your life, for me, there really wasn't, but I kind of created a character where um, there's a boy, right? And this boy, maybe it's my soul, maybe it's a part of my soul, maybe it's me who I never was, or maybe it was me that I was in the past that I don't remember. But this boy, if you're a woman, it's girl, or whatever, right? Who you choose. Um, this boy, he doesn't know a lot about the world, And what does he do? He asks, and he asks questions. He asks his mom, his dad, no mom and dad. He asks somebody. He asks someone older than him. There's so many questions, right? And it always seems like if you're a parent and you have a kid, they're always asking questions, and it never ends. And I think there's a point where something happens, life hits us, and we stop being that person. And I think throughout this journey, um, I started realizing that that's who I want to start being again. So I activate that person, and now all these ideas, all this creativity, all these questions is just me really just asking. And it's funny because it comes off as curiosity. I'm not trying to be curious. I'm just that boy who got put away, because of life. So when you do that, or when I did that, I started thinking of ideas, and those ideas, reaching out to salespeople, getting advice. If you don't have a network, heck, Jack provides some tools to find people in the industry, and you just call to ask, hey, this is a dumb idea, but I don't know anything about the world. No, I'm not asking for anything. Can I just ask, just to ask? And that could be separate from the job search, but this is where you start learning more, and it starts compounding, and you just start thinking of more ideas, and you start
Mm.
thinking of more questions. But your intention isn't to be curious, for at least for me, that's not my intention. My intention is just the boy, and the outcome is the curiosity. So
Mm.
to help you with your job search, if you start with that, then any ideas that kind of come after you will start flowing naturally. And I think that's what really helped me. And I met so many people along the journey, so many SDRs, even AEs that were willing to help. And there are people out there that will help.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, so beautifully said. I feel like that should be like a little short story, sonnet type thing. Um, you're touching on two truths that are huge to growth in life. One truth is that you will not grow with an ego. If you think you know all the answers and you
Yeah.
think you figured it out, buddy, you're done growing. If you are the biggest person in the gym, it's time to find a new gym. And the more I've done that, the more I've grown and learned. And even now, I have two business coaches. I have a mentor in my personal life. And I have my wife, and she's like a genius and super wise. So I'm always surrounding myself with people that are going to help me grow. But the second thing is that you're touching on is if you approach life with genuine curiosity, not artificial curiosity, genuine curiosity, and ask people questions and ask for help and advice and feedback and wisdom, people naturally are going to want to help you because as humans, it feels good to help someone else. So Rich, man, you did it. You did it, man. You're at a great company.
Yeah.
You went through a transformation from Rich at the beginning of the journey to Rich now. And brother, I'm so proud of you. And this is only the beginning for you. So congratulations on landing this job. And thank you for trusting Sword to do it.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a kind of a teardrop here, but I know it's not the end. And
Yeah.
this is part of the journey. I know we'll still be in contact, and I'm excited to see what is out there for the post Sword alumni. So
Oh, yeah.
you
I
take a
love
look
it,
at
man.
that,
Well,
but
thank you for hanging out.